what I'm talking about is Ubiquity. This is us. We are 75 people strong, based in San Francisco, as you heard. We are spread out over the country. Most of us are in San Francisco, but we have 30 people who work remotely. We weren't always this happy. This happens to be one of our volunteer events at our annual UB Well Week. This is what was. Chad Parks, our CEO, founded the organization in 1999. Let's flash back to 2010. He thought, what in the world happened to my company? I don't recognize it. I don't even like to come into work. That's where we met and our journey began. The first thing we had to do was to come up with who we are and define our values. We knew our purpose, we knew our vision, but we didn't know what our values were. This happens to be our second version of our values. What we came up with 5 years ago was very scary to us, very scary to the organization. Over time, we evolved past those values. And last year, we went through the process of rebranding and decided it was time to up-level our values. And this is what we came up with. Now, it was a long journey to go, to say the least, long and hard. We needed a mechanism for us to measure our impact and what we were doing. So we decided to use the Net Promoter Score internally and matched it with our engagement survey. 5 questions with the Net Promoter Score question at the end. In 2010, our first one was -10. Yes. Only way to go is up from there, right? So it's like, okay, I can do this. I can improve from -10. And as you see, we have an up and down process. And what we learned is our business is very cyclical, and our employee engagement went with that cycle. So we had to come up with things to help stabilize that engagement. We wanted to go up, not down, and continue that upward momentum. Now, in Q2 of 2011, I had the privilege of going to my first WorldBlu in San Francisco. Chad said, hey, this looks like a lot of what you're doing. Do you want to go? I was like, oh, sure, it's in my backyard. Happy to go. Oh my gosh, I found my people. I was really excited. So I was able to take a lot of best practices, tweak them for what we were doing, and you can see that major uptick. And then we dipped down in Q1 again, which was like, Then we had a major uptick, and then we went to WorldBlu again in Denver. I'm sitting at the table. How many were there? Okay, woo, yay. Good to see you again. I'm sitting at my table. I have an empty seat next to me, and this guy comes walking in, and he's beelining it over to my table in the empty seat. And I think, I know this guy. How do I know this guy? And I go through the scenario in my head, thinking, did I work with him? Did I date him? How do I know? Is he a friend of a friend? I don't know. I look at his ring. I'm like, okay, I didn't date him. I know that. And he comes, I see his name badge, and it's Philip Rosdale, and it says Linden Labs. Oh my gosh, he's our neighbor. He's below us in the building. He's the co-founder of Linden Labs and has since gone on to open Fidelity. He happened to be a speaker, and if you remember, he was amazing, total genius on stage. His mind is zipping all around, and I'm tracking it. And he starts talking about crowdsourcing and what an impact the wisdom of crowd has. And he starts talking about how he brought that internally and devised a way to do his stock options for his employees, about doing this crowdsourced point mechanism. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what we needed. I was struggling with our internal bonus program, and I was awarding them. When I first got there, all the managers got the stock and cash. The employees got PTO. I was like, okay, that doesn't seem right. Then I flip-flopped it. I'm like, okay, managers, you're getting stock and PTO. Employees, you're getting the cash. It didn't seem like it was still fair. This, I thought, we can do fairness and dignity with this. So what we did, on the flight home, my mind's racing, and I thought, okay, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do a peer impact bonus award. I immediately contacted our creative technologist. He's amazing, and we were able to craft this. It lives on our intranet. This is the main awarding screen. So we have 75 people. Everyone gets 100 points, and they are able to award it however they see fit to who they feel has made an impact to the business or the company. And we have this amazing counter. You can start populating it, and the counter goes down. This is the dashboard that I happen to see. So as the administrator of this, I can see who has an award. So I can give that friendly nudge to say, hey, I noticed you haven't awarded. Running along the top, I can see previous results. Again, who hasn't awarded. I can turn it on and off, and I can look at last year's score. I get this amazing spreadsheet where it's everyone listed and what they awarded to whom. I can see if there's anything interesting going on of, hey, I'll give you my 100 points if you give me yours. That doesn't happen, which is great. Now what the employee sees, and all of the quarters are listed over the years, they can see where they ranked and how many points that they were awarded. Now what this does is two things. One, you can celebrate if you were high in the ranking, or maybe you're in the middle or the lower part of the pack and you want to increase that. It's amazing motivation. It says, oh my gosh, I wasn't noticed. How can I get noticed? What can I do to make an impact? Now, some people may think it's a popularity contest. It is not. The introverts are awarded, when I look at the top 10, I would say 60% of them are those quiet, heads down workers. The peers know who's working and who's not, and who's making a difference, and they award it. It's pretty remarkable. I encourage you to take what you've learned here, take what you've experienced, make it your own, make it reflect your culture and your company. Every time I come, I'm so inspired, and I think about the information dump that you want to bring back to your company. I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned all this amazing stuff. Let's do it. Do it. If you make a mistake, it's okay. You pivot, you evolve, you learn what didn't work, what worked. Let me tell you a couple of things that didn't work with Peer Impact. So when Philip was talking about it, he said that he wrote down on a piece of paper who he thought was going to be at the top. I did the same thing, and it was true. That happened. I was very excited. He also put it out for a 30-minute window. So it was like this, okay, I got to get this done, and he surprised people. I tried that. Didn't work. Didn't work for our organization. We have a lot of frontline people who need to be on phones and helping customers. They felt tremendous amount of pressure to get it done within that 30-minute window. There's lots of excitement around it. We have since expanded that. It's a week-long process. We also, you need a crowd. There is wisdom of the crowd, but if you don't have a crowd, there's no wisdom. And so the points get very skewed if you don't have a lot of participation. So we started off really high with participation, and then it started dwindling off. We have now tied it, and then it went high again. I thought we got to levelize this. So what we've done is tied it with our other programs, that is reflect, evaluate, and reward. So it's part of that component that we do every quarter. And then what happens is we take those points, we roll them up to the end of the year, and then we convert them into stock, PTO, and cash. Everyone gets a certificate of what they've earned over the year. It's pretty exciting. The other thing that we don't do, and you may wonder, do you share where people rank? We decided not to do that each quarter. What we didn't want to have happen is, let's say Bonnie is amazing and she's made tremendous impact this quarter, so I give her points. Let's say I still think that she's amazing Q2, but I know that she was our #1 person, so I want to help somebody else out. And we decided we wanted to keep it pure of who you felt was making the impact, and you might not know if they were the #1 person or not. So we decided to keep that in the dark, if you will, until the end of the year. And then we do talk about who is the top 10, and we have a really great celebration around that. So those are some of the lessons that we've learned with that. And we evolve with this every quarter and try new things. So that is me. And if you want to geek out with me on anything and all things people and culture, I would love to connect with you. So come and find me. Thank you.